Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today I have the newly released McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, The Joker, the Comedian. Now this is from the Batman 3 Jokers line, and the Comedian is a GameStop exclusive. There's a couple more Jokers in this line, and that's going to be the Clown and that's going to be the Criminal that you can pre-order and pick up just about everywhere else. The other figures in this line include Red Hood, Batgirl, and of course, Batman. So like I said, I got this from GameStop and the pre-orders were open in mid-October, but for some reason, the pre-orders were being held until after the store got their shipments, which was weird. So I ended up seeing this on sale for Black or Cyber Monday online, and I canceled my pre-order and then just ordered this one and it was just shipped out. So if you pre-ordered this and you're wondering where yours is, check the status of your order because you might need to cancel it and just pick it up in the store or buy it online. All right, so this is based on The Killing Joke, that iconic graphic novel from many years ago, and that's what the Joker is depicted as here, as the comedian. It's part of his origin story as a failed comedian. And there's a look on the back, some other figures in the vast McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. And I'm really excited about this, because he has the camera, he has the crowbar, that awesome hat, and that jacket. This is a really, really cool looking Joker. All right, so let's open him up, take a closer look. So there's this episode of The Simpsons where Jasper says to Smithers, "This sidewalk's for regular walking, not fancy walking." And that's kind of how I feel about this figure. It was really the first thing that kind of came to my mind, because to me, this figure is for regular posing, not fancy posing. Because even though the articulation in the core of the Joker's body is there, but it's restricted because of the trench coat. So you're not going to get crazy poses out of him. You're just going to get regular poses that are still good. So I say that in the beginning just so you can set your expectations and knowing that you're not going to get something that's like wild and crazy. All right. But for this particular Joker, I'm not sure if you would even want to, because this look is what it's all about. This look is what sells it. You got the Joker with this awesome, is that considered a fedora? That really cool coat and the old school film camera. Now, of course, you also do have the crowbar as another accessory, but even if they didn't have the crowbar, as long as that camera came with it, that is what really, really sells it. All right, and the detail is what's going to sell it. So if we can look closely at the Joker's face, you can see that it is a really creepy and menacing look, as it should be. Now, the hat does not come off, it's glued to his head, but of course he does have the green hair underneath that, and then we also have some black mixed in with that green, producing a nice little shadowy effect, add a little bit more depth to it. And the camera itself, it looks pretty nice as well. It comes with this strap that's not necessarily super stretchy, but of course it's wide enough to go over the Joker's head, and you're going to have him with this camera. I would say, 90-ish% of people would want him to be posed with this camera, because that's what The Killing Joke, that cover, that's what it is. So why wouldn't you want to have it like that? And as for the his outfit itself, I mean, it's very basic, We just got regular old purple through and through. A darker purple. He's got the suit underneath, and it's a little bit darker underneath with the suit, and a little bit of a sort of a grayish kind of a tie, but it's recessed kind of deep in there, so you don't see it all that good. And then you also have the lighter purple pants with the black shoes with the white, I don't know what you would call this part because I'm not a dress up person, but you got that little white part over the shoes. So, he's dressed like a proper dapper gentleman for as crazy as he is. So, it ain't a whole lot of painted detail inside of the jacket, but it does have these molded on wrinkles, which of course makes it look a little bit more realistic. And then you have the straps up front that can kind of move, and they're made of that regular old rubbery-ish material. As with all DC Multiverse figures, comes with a base. Do you need it? Sorta, kinda. I've been having a little bit of a weird time getting him to stand up on his own, so the base did really come in handy for me. Yours might be different. Sometimes certain limbs can be a little bit looser on some figures that people get as opposed to others, but I do find that the base is necessary in my case. As for this crowbar here, it's just a real basic crowbar, nothing fancy about it, just kind of like a flat gray color. That's it. You know, this is just as basic as an accessory can get. Looks like a crowbar, but no further detail on it. Or is really needed. I mean, it's a crowbar. It's just a metal crowbar. Okay, now the articulation that I mentioned before. You're not really going to have much of a limitation for the arms because the arms are molded separately from the rest of the jacket. So you have a much wider range of motion here, and you see these joints are kind of tight, but we do get the double jointed elbows. It's just kind of tight. So you might want to heat that up just a little bit, just so you can have more of a reassurance that you're not going to break anything. So yeah, you can do that. And of course the hands can bend in and out like that as they should. And of course they rotate as they should, 360 degrees at the arm as it should. And then you also get a little bit, you can butterfly. You can do the butterfly, but you know, the jacket kind of sort of gets in the way a little bit, but not a whole lot. But that kind of restriction, it is there. Now, the legs is going to be more of a restriction simply because of the coat and how it drapes down over the legs. So when you try to move his leg out, you can see you get about that high, and then this part starts to hold it back. You run into some resistance there. So of course it's going to be the same thing on that side. And at the bend at the knee, looks like we can get two joints out of it. Looks like there's still a little bit of room left to do a double joint on the knee, but I can't really get to it. There we go. So you get yourself double jointed knees, but like I said, it can be quite stiff. So you want to work that out. And fortunately, the jacket doesn't necessarily get in the way of the double jointed knee if you move like this little tail piece. If you move that out of the way, you'll be able to do it. And then also the back of the jacket kind of stops short of where this joint would be. So that also helps you to get that double joint without too much fuss. And then as for the foot, you got the toe articulation that you can hinge up and down. Mine's is a little bit on the loose side, but not too bad. And then you can also rotate the foot and do a little tiny bit of a pivot. Not really a whole lot of pivot, but you get a little bit. You get a little bit. And if you want to swivel the waist, you know, good luck with that because you got this jacket on. Not really going to happen, as well as crunching back and forth. Again, the jacket is going to stop it. So you know what? I think that this figure, as well as the other figures in the line of the three Jokers, these are kind of meant to be almost statuesque in nature. Sort of like the McFarlane color tops from a while ago. And how those had, you know, admittedly, much lower range of articulation than these figures do, but just some figures aren't necessarily sculpted for action figure purposes. They're really made for more so for display purposes. Get them in really basic type poses and not really crazy poses. One more thing, let's go over the head, of course, left and right. Can you do it up and down? Not really. You can go down a little bit, which is kind of cool when you have his head going all the way down because the hat starts to cover the top of his face and that, you know, gives it a more menacing look. But, you know, you're not going to get a whole lot because you got that collar right there when you try to look up, and that's going to stop it. And here's just a closer look, if I haven't showed you already, of his face when you lift up the hat. So it's a good job on the face paint and everything. I think that looks great. But yeah, your three Jokers, I think, are just going to kind of be standing side by side with each other, looking very menacing. And so don't expect to get a lot of like crazy poses out of it because it's just not what these figures, or what this figure in particular, is going to be capable of due to what he's wearing. There's some other Jokers that don't have so much on him so that you can get a little bit more wacky with it, but this is not a wacky Joker, even though he's the comedian. He's actually quite serious. Okay, so that is it. Remember that this is a GameStop exclusive. You can pick it up either in store or online at GameStop.com. And then the other two Jokers in this line you can get pretty much everywhere else, along with the Batgirl and Batman. Awesome. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Batman the Three Jokers. Going to have some more reviews coming up for you soon, McFarlane related and otherwise. But until then, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'm Jeremy.